Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We have a very positive Nadem on the show with us tonight. Shaka and Stevie, not as positive. Shaka a little bit more, Stevie. He did give it a go, it's fair to say. Let's get started with the question, shall we? Oh, this is not a positive start. All right, which centre-back between Maguire and Upamecano has had the worst performance in the last 2 weeks?
Upamecano. Yeah. I mean, Harry's unlucky with the own goal against Sevilla, and he's given an awful ball by De Gea.
Which he asked for.
Well, listen, if you don't ask for it, you're going to get criticised for not wanting the ball. But Upamecano, actually his bottle went, particularly in the first leg against Man City, when he tried a back pass to the goalie, and you talk about nervous. I think it came off his shin. I mean, I think he lost his bottle, Upamecano.
Nadem?
Yeah, I'd have to go with Upamecano as well. I think Maguire obviously wasn't great today, and there was the own goal in the last game, but it's not like he's been terrible. But I think across those two ties, most people would agree that of all the quality on the field, Upamecano had the worst. He was the worst performance in both games, and the slip. He's unfortunate with the slip, but unfortunately, you can't afford to make mistakes like that, because before you know it, the whole tie's finished. And that first leg at the Etihad, it was a horror show to the point whereby I remember Benjamin Pavard walking over to him and tapping him on the back, saying, "Come on, keep going." As a pro, you do not need people coming over to you, encouraging you, saying, "Keep going, things will be okay." So I think I'd have to go for Upamecano for me.
Next question, start, bench or sell Shaka? Arteta, Ten Hag, Eddie Howe.
I'm going to start Arteta. I'm going to bench Eddie Howe, and I'm going to drop Ten Hag.
Does today's result...
Start, bench, sell, so I'm going to sell.
Does today's result have a say in that?
Yeah, today's result has a huge say in that,
yeah. Nadem?
Oh, that's tough, that Shaka. That's tough, you know. I think Ten Hag has brought hope to Man United. When's the last time you could speak about that at that place? So I think you'd have to go Arteta because they're going to win the league, but I think Ten Hag's got to be next. And Eddie Howe, unfortunately, he's done great for Newcastle, but they're going to finish the season without a trophy again. How many years is that in a row now, Shaka?
But to that point, while Ten Hag has given hope to Manchester United, Eddie Howe has taken that club from 12 months ago being relegation threatened to being in the top 4 within 3 points of Manchester United. I think that deserves higher credit.
Who do you think is going to be there next year? Who's going to be there in a year's time, Shaka? Who's more likely to be there in a year's time? Ten Hag or Eddie Howe?
Eddie Howe.
All right, say no more. Yeah. I'll leave that there.
See, I knew where he was going with that. Yeah.
Didn't let him fool you.
Just scuppered his plans.
Okay.
Next question is for Nadem. Who's had the biggest impact on Manchester City as a club over the past 15-ish years? De Bruyne, Pep, Aguero, company, or someone else maybe, besides money, of course?
I would have to say, that's a good question, you know.
It's from your interior decorator.
Yeah. I know. I've not been able to contact him. I've still got the same background. They've all... the Vincent Kompany is really interesting because he came before the takeover happened, and now he's got a statue outside the stadium because he brought so much success. So he's very much an integral part of what the club is today. I think in Sergio Aguero, bringing someone who scored 260 goals, that's not something we associate with Man City over the last, say, 30 years. But then I would say the style of football that Pep Guardiola has brought and made all those players better has meant that the legacy that he'll have, like City will be spoken about in my eyes the same way that Barcelona side was spoken about in the 2005 and beyond, I think, when Messi and all those guys were playing. So I think he's brought a lot of eyes to that football club, which maybe wouldn't have been there otherwise. I think he's a marquee manager. So I guess legacy-wise, you'd probably have to say him, but every single person is just as important. And there's actually one thing which was missing, because the year they won the FA Cup for the first time in 2011, that was the year I actually left Man City. So if I didn't leave, then think about it, they wouldn't be where they are today. Just remember that, okay?
He's given us a lot to think about on tonight's show.
Needham is so positive. Everything about Needham today.
I did that for them. I did that for them. Just think about how good a person
You're
I am
welcome,
to lead.
Manchester City.
Yes. Give me a medal for being rubbish. How about
Or
that?
a statue outside the stadium.
No, too far.
A statue of Needham leaving? Yeah, give me Needham a statue.
Just like that. Bye, guys.
Stevie, do you have any thoughts on that question?
No, I'm with Adam, Pep.
Okay. Shaka, did you have a centre-back whose skill level just wasn't up to par and you found yourself avoiding passing him the ball just to be safe?
Yes. Every way I've played. Every way I've played, there's been a centre-back that you don't give the ball to. I could start at Reading with Keith McPherson. He didn't want the ball. Don't give him the ball. That's fine. We had a ball-playing centre-back, Darius Vidovcic, to do that. You could go to Newcastle, Darren Peacock, best defender we had, but he was not a pass of the football. That was down to Steve Howe or Philippe Albert. At West Ham, you could go to Rio Ferdinand to give him the ball, but Ian Pearce necessarily didn't want it. Linvoy Primus at Portsmouth.
I mean, by the way,
naming names.
No, but to that point,
Get the list out.
They knew, and we could laugh about it, you know. And so, for instance, talking about Harry Maguire today with David De Gea and him asking for the ball, if one of those defenders came and asked for the ball, I didn't give it to them, we could. Afterwards, you win the game, assuming you could laugh and say, yeah, I wasn't giving it to you there. And everybody laughed, and you move on. You don't. If they know there's a centre-back who doesn't want the ball, even if he calls for it, you don't give it to him. That's just goalkeeping 101, in my opinion.
It's amazing how football's changed. Because, again, when I was playing, when you looked at the opposition, the last thing he said, or the manager would say, would be, right, make sure so-and-so gets it. Make sure if you're picking anybody up, pick him up, and him up, leave it with him. We want him to get the ball at his feet. Whereas nowadays, everybody can pass it, pretty much, but nobody can defend. The whole thing's turned on its head.
Yeah.
Every team had players who couldn't pass the ball defensively, but they were there to defend. Because you needed them, because that's the way the game was. In today's game, everybody's all passing it and all this and giving it all that lovely, and they're all talking about it, yeah, do that. But not one of them knows how to defend to save their life. It's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, so I'll use Newcastle as an example. When we knew our team was going to sit deep and make things difficult, you could play Steve Howe and Philippe Albert, because they're comfortable stepping forward. But if you're going to be under any kind of pressure, that's when you played Darren Peacock. He was easily the best defender we had, but he didn't want the ball to feed. And so to Stevie's point, all of a sudden you've gone from at least having defenders who can defend to now having all your defenders who are just comfortable in the ball, and when they find themselves under pressure, they can't. Then they
How do you pass the ball again?
You watch all the managers giving it all this. Yeah, they're all giving it all that. Yeah, move it, yeah, move it. Yeah, right.
Is that how you did it, Nadem?
Yeah, well, listen. You just get the ball, you just move it here, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, it's majestic, you know. I'll tell you what though, okay, there's nothing more humbling, as Stevie was saying there, about, say, let someone so-and-so have it. There's nothing more humbling when your team tries to play out from the back and everybody's marked up except for you. Like, you're that guy. And when you know you're that guy, it's a little bit awkward. It's like, I'll show them, give me the ball. Then you get it, and then before you know it, you've lost it. And it's like, well, maybe I won't get it next time.
I love it. Next question is for you, Nadem. Talk about humbling experiences. Kieran Gibbs spoke about your 2009 Under-21 Euro team. How was that experience from your point of view? You basically faced the 2014 World Cup winners 5 years early in the final.
Yes. So I saw that with Kieran yesterday, and I'm glad that he's on board. Really, really nice guy. So much insight to be had. And what was interesting was we actually had Germany in the group stages as well. And we won our first two games. So the third game was against Germany. So the manager at the time, Stuart Pearce, he actually made, I think it was like 8 or 9 changes for that match. And the team that played for us battered them. Germany had to win or had to get a result. So they put out the strongest team. and our B team as such battered them. I think Kieran played in that game, like, we're talking battered them. So lo and behold, when we go and play against them in the final, we're thinking this will be all right. 4 goals later, start of a legacy, start of a generation, dynasty, everything. It was crazy, but I loved it. Like as Kieran was saying, it was a really good bunch of guys. We were away for a very long time and you need that sort of connection to sort of go on a day-to-day basis and continue to be motivated, because it's hard being away from your families and doing things that you want to do, especially when you're a young person. But it was a fantastic tournament and we were so close to winning it. But as we look at it and we see the likes of Khedira, Neuers and other people like that, I think it's fair to say that that was a pretty talented bunch of players for Germany.
I like that, yeah. And the nice thing for you, Nadim, is they all say, isn't it great having Kieran on, someone young on the panel? And given the fact you were in that team with him, that means you're someone young on the panel
He
too.
didn't say that. That's not what Nadim said. Nadim never said it was good having somebody young. That's just you stirring things.
You guys can stir things for the last question, because it's for me, and it says, which team would you want Borough to face in the playoffs? Who presents the best matchup for your team? Stevie keeps telling me that cannot finish third.
No, you'll bottle it. Anyway, regardless of the opposition. I don't care. Everybody, they're all sitting going, I hope we get Middlesbrough.
I was hoping for a bit of...
I hope we get Middlesbrough. That's what they're all saying.
No, they're hoping they don't get Middlesbrough.
You peaked too early. You made this incredible run, got yourself into
What, when we were near the bottom of the table
now you've just
in
sort of
October?
dropped to fourth because you're beginning to think about the playoffs. You're going to slacken off in training, and then by the time the playoffs come, you'll have lost the sting in your legs and you'll get knocked out and you'll have to start all over again.
I mean, recent results really look like they're slacking off, right?
Aye.
So I don't want to name any names. I know who some of the other Borough fans would prefer it to be, but I know that a lot of people are worried about those teams that just make it into the playoffs.
Yep.
By the end,
Should be, yeah.
because they feel that they've got nothing to lose. So the likes of West Brom and Sunderland have been brought up. There's a feeling that some really would love to see Middlesbrough taking on Millwall, which if it finished today, it would be. But Stevie does keep reminding me, only when we're in third, by the way, that you don't want to be the one who finishes at the top of it, because that team never goes on to win.
You don't want to be third, and you don't want to finish the season slacking. And you do want to be that team that's coming up on the rails, who sneaks in, who's playing at that level, who has to keep bashing away 100% to get there, because by the time the game comes round, they're 100% there. Whereas you lot have taken a chill pill.
Yeah, we really look like we've taken a chill pill in our recent games, Stevie. We really
can't turn the engine back on. So don't get your hopes up.
Well, I won't with you sat next to me. I need Nadim as a hype man, seeing as everybody else has got him for my Middlesbrough. Anyway, we're going to end it there. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And
maybe
Stevie...
maybe Man U could loan out their designated hype man.
Michael Carrick's our manager, so there's some nice connections between the club.
You get a little loan move.
Yeah.
Nadim's very available.
Yep, Nadim, we'd love to have you up on Teesside hyping us up. Hopefully we can make that happen. Make sure to join us tomorrow. We're going to do it all over again.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.